Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to attempt a feat never before attempted or accomplished in the modern YouTube era. Today I'm going to do something that I don't think even I have ever done before. I am going to, in a single broadcast, irritate both New Age people and hardcore Christians, so much so that they will be willing to forget their differences and join forces to beat me up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just something I have to do. I can't avoid it. It's something I have to do. And somebody says, why are you wearing a tank top? Well, I just want my New Age friends to know I still love you. I'm still about rainbows and unicorns. My rainbows and unicorns are just a little different than your rainbows and unicorns. Like Magenta Pixie said yesterday, I'm an undercover New Ager. And Rocky Stucci, shut up, is in the building. So glad to see Rocky. And we're going to talk today about John the Baptist, fig trees, and unicorns. John the Baptist, fig trees, unicorns, and rainbows. Can you imagine that? John the Baptist, fig trees, unicorns, and rainbows. That's what we're talking about here today on the New Cosmic Knowledge channel. And I have to read you something from the Greek from first century Greek scriptures. I don't like to talk about New Testament anymore. I don't know why, I just don't. But I'm going to read you something from the first century Greek scriptures, so you can understand what I'm talking about and get the context of what I'm talking about. And whether you like the Bible or not, this will blow your mind, because it's like, whoa, I can't believe he actually said this. I want you to look at this verse that I'm looking at here. It's John 6:63. And think of that, 663, 6 and 6 is 12, a 5 is a 15, 663, 6 and 6 is 12. Okay, John 6:63, 6 and 6 is 12, and 3 is 15, which is another 6. So it's kind of 666. So it's kind of like, whoa, wake up and think about this, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. I want to show you this verse, and I want you to think about what he's saying. The master saying this, Jesus, the Lord, Yeshua, whatever you call him, he's saying, it's the spirit that quickens, the flesh profits nothing. It's the words that I speak unto you, their spirit and their life. So what's he really saying in the original language? We go to the Greek, because that's what it was written in, and we go to see what was really said and not what they tell us was said. Because if you've ever played that game where somebody whispers something in somebody's ear and it goes through 10 or 12 people and it comes out completely different, you understand the idea of going back to the original in the New Testament, because if you really want to know what it says, I know some of you don't really want to know, you just want to believe what you're told, but that's not for the people that are here. So the master's saying, listen, it's the flesh doesn't do anything. The flesh doesn't profit. So what's the flesh? What he's saying is, listen, anything about my flesh, anything about my body, anything about my human nature, anything about my human empowerment or origin, human origin or empowerment, anything about my human origin or empowerment doesn't matter. This isn't Darty talking. This isn't Rocky Stucci. This is the master, the one that you say inspired this whole book. So he's telling you, listen, folks, nothing of my human origin, nothing of my human empowerment, nothing of my flesh, nothing of my body, nothing of my human nature, nothing of my materiality matters. It doesn't matter at all. Profit. What's a profit mean? Profit means to be helpful, to be of benefit, or to do good, and not. Anything that has to do with his flesh doesn't have any profit. It has nothing good to do with it. So let me break that down for you. Whether he was born in Bethlehem to a virgin under a star with cattle lowing and all of that stuff doesn't matter. Whether he was crucified or not crucified on a hill far away on an old rugged cross doesn't matter. Whether he raised from the grave after 3 days doesn't matter. Whether he even lived at all does not matter. It does not profit. Anything about his human origin, anything about his human life does not profit. I didn't say that. He said it. So if you've got a problem, check with him. I'm on a fast today, and this is some lemon and seltzer water. It helps you. It's really good stuff. A little bit of stevia. So it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter because I don't say it matters. It matters because he says it doesn't matter. And here's the point. It's the words. The words that I speak, the things spoken, the word or saying. They're the things that matter. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit. What's that mean, they're spirit? That means they are the breath of the Spirit. And they are what? They are life. What's life? Zoe. That means they give you both physical and spiritual life. So I don't care whether you like it or not. I don't care whether you enjoy it or not. I don't care if you love me or hate me. I'm going to tell you what the Master told you. And if you don't like it, you can take it up with my boss. And that's not Sandra in this case. He told you plainly and clearly. And I'm just setting the foundation. Anything that has to do with my body, anything that has to do with my human life, anything that has to do with my human origins, anything that has to do with my human empowerment is not worth a damn. It doesn't profit. Did Jeff just say that nothing about the life of Jesus is worth a damn? That Jeff just said it. Replay it, listen to it again. I'll save you the trouble. Anything having to do with the life of Jesus isn't worth a damn because he said so, not me. It's his words that he spoke that give you spirit and give you life. Okay. So now we can talk about some stuff. Let's talk about John the Baptist, okay? Let's talk about John the Baptist baptizing out by the Jordan. John was baptizing out by the Jordan. Let's take a look at that. And let's look in the book of John. How about that? Book of John, chapter 3, verse number 23. And I'm going to set some groundwork for you here. And John, and I'll show you the scriptures just so you don't think I'm cheating you. 23, John was baptizing outside of Jerusalem because there was a lot of water. And the people were coming and they were being baptized. For John was not yet cast into prison. Was John really cast into prison? Or was John not yet taken prisoner by bad doctrine? Stay with me. So John's out there baptizing. And they're coming out and they're getting baptized. But John was about to lead him into prison. Just stay with me for a second. And why was John baptizing? What was John baptizing for? What was his reasons? What was his rationality? Why did John say that he was baptizing? Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember why John said that he was baptizing? Think about that for a second. Why did he say he was doing it? Well, Luke is the most literal writer in the New Testament. So let's see what Luke had to say about it. Luke said that he was doing what? He was baptizing people. Verse 3, for the repentance of the remission of sins. You know what remission of sins means? Stay with me. You know what remission of sins means? Remission of sins means, verse 3, he was preaching baptism of repentance for forgiveness of sins. You see that? So he was saying, get baptized and we're going to forgive your sins by the act of baptism. Can I say to you that John wasn't really preaching the message that the Master told him to preach? He was messing it up a little bit. And when you mess it up a little bit, you mess it up a lot. Because what the Master told John to teach was, you don't need blood anymore for the forgiveness of sins. You don't have to go to the priest and pay money and have an animal cut and bled in order to get forgiveness of sins. That's what the Master told him to preach. That's what the master told him to preach. And he was kind of preaching that, but he wasn't really preaching that. He was saying, don't go to the temple anymore. Don't pay money anymore. Don't rely on a ritual anymore for forgiveness of your sins. You're missing the mark. But John was a Nazarite from a little bitty baby. They never cut his hair. He never drank wine. He never had sex. He was a hardcore religious Jew. And he just couldn't get it through his long-haired head that the master said, listen, just tell them not to perform any rituals for forgiveness of sin, period. But John had to say, oh, wait a second. If they don't want to do if they don't want to do blood washing, they got to have some water washing, because he misunderstood something that the master said. The master said, you got to be washed in the water. So John was saying, you know what? I'm going to wash them in the water. I'm going to wash them in the water. But that's not what the master said. And Paul himself picked up on the error that John the Baptist made and strengthened and turned that into a doctrine that most of you still believe. But Paul told on himself, like he always does, so that we can really know the truth. And it's what did the master just say? My words are spirit and truth. My words are what gives you spirit and life. And what did Paul, his very damn self, admit? That the master cleanses people by what? The washing of the water by the word. Woo! But John the Baptist said, no. It's not just by the washing of the water by the word. We got to have a ceremony. We got to have something we can point at and say, I did this, so I'm okay. I did this little ritual. I went to the chapel and I got married, so I can say there's a ritual that I pointed to that makes me okay. I did something. So the master said, just tell the people they don't have to go get bloodshed anymore to forgive their sins, because they don't have sins. They got the spark of divinity within. Just tell them to listen to my words. Prepare my path. Tell them I'm coming with some words, that they don't need the blood anymore. And John blew it because he was too religiously minded. He says, okay, washing of the water. Oh, he really meant for me to start a new ceremony of dunking people under the water. But he clearly said washing of the water by the word, because it was his words that give strength in life. Do you really think getting dunked under some water makes you anything but wet? Do you? Of course it doesn't. Let me show you something else. Yes, I'm going back to the whiteboard, ladies and gentlemen. Here you are, divine, sovereign, and free. That's you. You're divine, sovereign, and free. You decide, you know what? I need to hook up with the Father. I need to hook up with the Mother. We're just going to show one of them. Yeah, we're hooking up with the divine. Love it. We're hooked up with the divine. We realize we don't have original sin. We realize we don't have the spark. We have the spark of divinity within. We realize we don't need no blood. We realize we don't need no ceremonies. Boom, here we are. John, just tell them they can link up with the divinity just like that. But John got deceived. John the Baptist got deceived. And he started telling people, here you are. If you want to get with the divine, you got to have water baptism. You got to do something. You got to have some kind of a ritual, some type of a ceremony. You can't just have it between you and the divine. You need to point at something. You got to get this ceremony. You got to get linked up with the divine. This is what the master wanted. This is what John the Baptist gave us. And this is what some of you still fight about. I get emails almost every day. Well, Jeff, shouldn't we still get baptized? No, it's not about baptism. John blew it. There's no ritual that you can point at to say that you're okay. There's no ritual that you can do that ensures that you're good. Christ, the master, The Lord, Jesus, whatever you call him, he didn't bring any rituals. There's no practice that you can do and say, oh, I'm okay. And what you're doing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you this, and this is going to bother some of you. Not the first time I've bothered you. Let's talk about baptism for just a second, okay? And let's talk about the way that most of you baptize or get baptized. You baptize babies, don't you? Why would you baptize a baby? And let me tell you something else. Remember where it said that the master, the disciples were saying, no, don't let the kids come up to him. What they were saying was, no, we're not going to bring these children up and indoctrinate them. They're too young. These children are too easily shaped at their young ages to expose them to any type of religious indoctrination. We want them to be able to be open when they're small and understand and find their own way. And when they get older, we will give them some religious instruction. But plastic Jesus says, oh, no, bring them to me as young as you can get them. Why? Because every fear and guilt control matrix, every control matrix wants to get you as young as they can so they can fill your head with their fear and their guilt. That's why I think Sandra is such a great parent. She gives a lot of sovereignty, divinity, and freedom to her 5-year-old, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Your child is divine, sovereign, and free. Your child should be able to decide if they want to have a relationship with your God or not, or if they want to have a relationship with any God or not. But what do? When they're babies, you take them down to the cathedral or the church or the mass, and you have the priest put water on their face and ensnare them to this God of the Bible. It's a mistake. Why are you going to do it to a baby that doesn't know anything? Baby hasn't had a chance to say, oh, yeah, Puite me now, sprinkle me with water. No, they didn't say it. They can't even talk when you sprinkle them. Why do you think all these little vacation Bible schools, all they want to do is baptize kids? Because they want to get them hooked into the freaking matrix, yo. Don't baptize your kids. Don't christen your kids. Don't do it. Catholic, Protestant, don't do it. And if they have been, bind it and undo that ceremony. Speak over your children. Wait till they're asleep so you don't scare the hell out of them. And bind the power of the baptism, bind the power of the christening, whatever you call it in your particular church, and get this out of your child's life. Get this out of your child's psyche. Get this out of your child's spiritual matrix. Get this out of your child's DNA architecture and let them get back to this, and they can decide if they want to link up with a God. You want to get rid of attachments? You want to really let people be divine, sovereign, and free? I dare you to do it with your kids. Let's find out how spiritual you really are. Let's find out how much you really love your children. Are you willing to let them be divine, sovereign, and free? Plastic Jesus wants the children to come into him because he wants to lock them in. Okay, I got the Catholics mad. I got the Protestants mad. Who would I have to go after next? Oh, yeah, the New Agers. But, wow. Fig tree, I can show you why why I'm right about John. And Derek Bros showed me this. Jesus curses the fig tree. Where did he curse the fig tree? In Matthew 11, I think. Is it Matthew 11? Let's see if the old preacher remembers. Matthew 11. Did you just tell me that if I baptize my kids, I'm exposing them to bondage? Yeah, I did. It's exactly what I told you, because it's the truth. So you're telling me I shouldn't baptize my kids? Well, not unless you want to put them into bondage. It's up to you. Up to you. Matthew 11, King James Version. I think this is where, what am I looking for? I've forgotten. I have totally forgotten what I was looking up. What was I looking up? Oh, cursing the fig tree. My goodness. Where's the fig tree? The fig tree, I thought it was here. Now, John was sent out by Yeshua, by the Master, by Jesus, by whatever you call him. He went out, he was sent, and he was sent to give a message. He just messed the message up. And then remember when the Master was out there looking at this fig tree? Oh, it's Mark. My bad. Mark 11. I wasn't off that far. Mark 11. That makes a big difference, doesn't it? So Mark 11. And Derek and I talked about this on our show the other day. Go watch it. Mark 11. So he's walking around, and from afar off, he sees a fig tree. Fig tree is representative of Israel a lot in Scripture. John was a Jew. And he comes up to the fig tree. It's got leaves. It looks very healthy. It looks very good. It looks like it was doing something good. John's out there baptizing people. A lot of people getting baptized. A lot of people crying and doing religious stuff. It looked really good. It looked really wonderful. But the Master went up and said, I want to look at this tree. He was hoping John was doing what he was told. But when he came up there, he found out that John had nothing but leaves. There was no fruit. And there was no fruit growing. I've always thought this meant there wasn't the season for fruit, but no, it means there was supposed to be fruit, but there was no fruit growing because John wasn't giving them the right stuff. John was telling them, not just telling them you don't need blood, you need to be washed by the word. John's telling them to get baptized, some new ritual. And the Master wasn't happy. He said, listen, you got nothing but leaves. You got no fruit. There's supposed to be figs on you. I gave you something that was going to produce fruit out of time, fruit out of the temple, fruit out of religion, fruit out of the way, fruit out of what men say. I was going to show you fruit my way. But John didn't do it the Master's way. So there was nothing but leaves. There was no fruit. Looked good, smelled good, looked pretty. Everybody liked it. Oh, it's bushy, it's pretty. But there was no fruit. And so the Master said to him, nobody's ever going to eat fruit of you hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it, and they're like, whoa, that was John the Baptist. Whoa, that was John the Baptist. And I wasn't sharing the screen with you, but that's okay. I was reading it to you straight from the Bible. That was John the Baptist. And then, just in case I know some of you don't believe me, but watch. Remember, John was just supposed to say no blood, get washed by the water of the words of the Master, but he invents this water thing. Here's how I know I'm right. Watch this. Watch the very next verse. I just shook my finger right in your face. So after the Master says to John, you're blowing it. And John had been preaching it to all these people. So now the Master's message is messed up because I told you to say no blood, washed by the water of my words. And you're out here dunking people in this dirty, muddy river. And now you've got them into another freaking ritual. This is what I mean, dummy. Come with me. What does the Master do? He walks into the temple on Passover where they're sacrificing all those animals, takes all the money of the people that were paying for the animals, and stops the sacrifice. Hey, John, dummy. I told you to say no blood. I didn't tell you to start a new ritual. Come with me, dummy. This is what I mean. No more buying of doves and goats and bulls. No more sacrificing of goats and doves and bulls. No more blood. Just the washing of the water by the word. That's why they were astonished at his doctrine. They're like, whoa, this dude just destroyed the whole religious paradigm. This dude just cursed the fig tree, which is Israel. The whole religious paradigm of Israel, the fig tree, was cursed. And it's been cursed ever since then. It's been cursed. And John the Baptist blew it. And you've been too lazy to discover it. And now you can decide if you want to listen as it's been brought to you brand new. It's up to you. The well of Christianity is poisoned. And anything that comes from it is poisoned. So now I go make the New Agers mad. You ready? And I'm just going to share this with you, and I made a whole video of it. This light language thing is nothing but New Age-ized Christian speaking in tongues. I was a Pentecostal minister for 20 years. I know what I'm talking about. It's dangerous. It's an archonic virus. I know it sounds pretty. Oh, but it's so beautiful. I love the sound of the light language. Yeah, I know it's beautiful. I know you love the sound, just like you like the look of this. This is so pretty. This is so beautiful. Yeah, and it's still bondage. They're putting you interconnected. They're making you into an interconnected network. So it doesn't matter how many of these things I draw. All I have to do to take you all down is infect one of you, and you all go down, and you go down hard. But it's beautiful. It's sacred geometry. It's only sacred if you're trying to trap fools. This is sacred right here. Divinity, sovereignty, freedom, hooked up to the divine or hooked up to others. Don't do the light language. You can do it, but you're going to get an archonic virus that's going to put you in bondage and make it harder for you to understand truth. I'm trying to get you free. I'm trying to get you unattached. Baptism is bondage because it creates attachment. There is no forget the blood and obey the words plus. It's just no more blood and follow the washing of the water of the word. The word of the Christ. And we got 66 people watching. That's funny. I was just watching your video with Magenta Pixie. She can really break things down. Yep, love Magenta Pixie. That was a great. I'd love to talk to her about this and see what she thinks. Love matters. Didn't say, whoa, you're really loud, Jeff. Yeah, I am really loud. Loud and proud, sister. He said we will worship the Father in sport and truth. I think she meant spirit. Spirit. Yeah, I just want to make sure my sound was right. Hello, beautiful people. I'm having issues with baptism. Water does cleanse, but I hope I just cleared it up for you, Love Matters. That was invented by John. His religious stupidity, his religious rigidity made him make up a ceremony. The master said, tell them no more blood. They're going to be cleansed by the washing of the water, by the word. And John's like, but I need a ceremony. I need something I can point at. So he makes up this ceremony of water baptism. And the master rebuked him for it. Said, bro, you're done. I gave you one job. You had one job. And you blew it, so you're done. No longer will people be blessed by what you say because you blew it. Yep. I'm not even going to comment on that. Flesh and blood sacrifice is satanic. Thank you, Breaking Dawn, Deborah L. Smith. I didn't baptize any of my children. Good for you, Catherine. I baptized all of mine physically. Whoa. That's bad. It is programming, Misty. And thank you for that video. That was lovely. Don't mess with the kids anymore. Didn't baptize my children, didn't feel natural. No, it's infringing upon their sovereignty. Do you think it's a way of closing the third eye? Water baptism? Yeah. Oh, Warrior Princess. Boom. Sandra's not here, so Warrior Princess had to step in. Where do they sprinkle them? Oh, let's put a little sprinkle right here on your little baby third eye. Bloop, 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 bloop. They could do it anywhere. Why don't they do it over their heart? Why don't they do it on their little butts? No. They sprinkle it right on their third eye. Warrior Princess. Bam. That's beautiful. She's exactly right. She's exactly right. She's exactly right. Christ said, forbid not the little children to come to me. Most people misunderstood that it means no one should stop or interfere with them learning the truths. It's not. Baptism is most assumed. And it's not about him not wanting them to. That's plastic Jesus that said, bring me the little kids. Because plastic Jesus wants the little kids as early as he can get them so he can start putting them under his fear and guilt control matrix as soon as possible. Real people don't bring their kids. People that want their kids to be divine, sovereign, and free don't start shoving religion down their little faces as soon as they put the bottle in their mouth. Shame on us. Let our children grow in divinity and sovereignty and freedom and make up their own minds. But no, plastic Jesus says, bring them in diapers. Let me sprinkle water on their third eye and close that stuff up. And let me do everything I can to get them so indoctrinated by fear and guilt. By the time they're 10, they don't know any better. Stalin said, give me a child until the age of 10, and I will make a great communist. Plastic Jesus says, bring me a child until the age of 10, and I'll make a great drone. How can we break out of the bondage? Just cancel it. I canceled the bondage. I canceled the covenants. I cancel any agreements. And I cancel the power of my baptism right now. I'm divine. I'm sovereign. I'm free. Break that contract. Catch them while they're fresh. And we don't even need to go into why they really want the kids to come. That's all part of it. It won't save you. It won't damn you either. I take exception with you, Love Matters. I think it is a ceremony of worth. It's a ceremony of worth because it takes you and puts you into this control matrix. Baptism will put you into this control matrix and give an aperture through which you can be attacked, and it connects you to everybody else. If one goes down, you all go down. If you want to be part of that, good for you. Here's where I'm going to live, right here, divine, sovereign, and free. I'm not cross with you, but I got to be responsible for what goes out on this channel, so I felt like I had to say that. It was just religion. Religion bears no fruit. Jeff's last video with Derek. Yes, I had a little problem with that one just because of planets. Yeah, anyway. John's Spirit, the Season, and John the Tree. Good one. I like that. You got the clan mad. Yeah, I'm good at that. Everyone thinks their interpretation is the correct one. I can read it and come up with my own logical conclusion. Well, you do that and go start your own channel and feel free to share it. But that's the conclusion and the interpretation we're sharing on this channel. No one has it because the Father is just that awesome. I got no problem with that. Jeff, you should look at bondage with our finances also. Brother, I know, or Nancy, I'm with it. I'm with it. That's the real woo-woo. Christianity destroys a sense of self-worth. Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Catherine. Well, that's up to you, Isabel. I just report the news. I just report the news. That's up to you, Nancy. I just report the news. I'm not responsible for what Derek does. I'm responsible for what Jeff does. I'm not responsible for what Derek says. I'm responsible for what Jeff says. I love Derek. He's a great guy, but none of my business. None of my business. All I know is that the master didn't say to do it that way, and we got a choice. But everybody knows that baptism is right. Yeah, that's why it's not. Whenever everybody knows something, you ought to start checking. You ought to start looking. You ought to start thinking. You ought to start wondering. It's called Mr. Scotty Roberts, M-I-S-T-E-R, and it's also on the front page of my channel. Ooh, good one, Richard. Wouldn't full submersion baptism help seal the chakras shut? Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could. That's a great point. That's a great point. I married a Catholic. I refused to convert, refused to rebaptize our daughter. His family went nuts. Good for you. Good for you. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. John the Baptist invented his own doctrine, got rebuked by the master. All of Israel's religious system was rebuked. They're the fig tree. And if John had done it right the first time, he would have saved himself a world of trouble. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but that's called good exegesis. That's called great interpretation. And in no time did my fingers leave my hands. And in no time did I leave the word. I was rightly dividing it for you. Boom. And it doesn't matter if you like the Bible or not. You don't even have to believe the Bible. I only believe about 20% of it. But I'm trying to show you the bondage of the system that you're in. And I'm trying to show you the ways they bring you into bondage. One is baptism. The other one's this love light thing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't care, Isabel. We're not talking about that here. Love you. But this is the New Cosmic Knowledge channel. And I'm responsible for what goes here. Love you. Feel free to disagree, but I will stop you when you start trying to preach your message in my chat room. I will stop you. Sorry, I just did. Love you. You're allowed to, I let you comment 6, 7, 8 times, but I will stop you if you start preaching your message in my chat room. I'm sorry. You can start your own channel, and I'll support you starting your own channel. I'll tell people to go subscribe to your channel, but I'm not going to let you preach your doctrine in my chat room. Get off my cloud. Derek said that too. Ruthie says, if most of the Bible is dung, shouldn't you throw the whole thing out? Well, let me think about this. Let's say that I gave you a box. Isabel, that's it. Bye-bye. You're in timeout. Let's say I gave you a box. I got all these boxes around here because I'm moving. And I said, this box is full of wet, steamy rat dung. Wet, steamy rat dung. But 80% of this box is filled with wet, steamy rat dung. But 20% of this box is filled with beautifully cut diamonds that are almost priceless. Would you say, most of it's bad, let me just throw the whole thing away? Or would you dig through it willingly and joyfully, digging through the dung and try to find the diamonds? I know what I would do. Mr. M-I-S-T-E-R, Scotty Roberts, and it's on the front of my channel. I'm feeling a little spicy today. Sorry, maybe it's the fasting. So no. Some of the greatest teachings of spiritual instruction that's ever come to humanity are in the New Testament. But there's a whole bunch. Yeah, Ruthie, the rat dung stench gets on the diamonds. That's why you wash them by the water of the words of Christ, the Master, the Lord, Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you call him. But if you don't want to, that's fine. It's up to you. It's up to you. I say go through the box. I took LSD last night. Wow. Yeah. Bye-bye. We don't recommend that stuff on this channel. Oh, you know who that is? Dude, I will always find you, and I will always block you, so stop it. And if you don't want me to tell the world your business, stop coming on my channel and messing with me. You know what I'm talking about, and I'm not kidding. I will bust you out and tell everybody your story if you don't stop bugging me. Are we clear? Because that's just my game. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody asked some question. Who's Plastic Jesus? Plastic Jesus is the false paradigm straw man invented by Roman Christianity, both Catholic and Protestant. He's not real. Jeff has his boxing gloves on. No, we're bare knuckles today. We don't even have boxing gloves on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've rambled and ranted and raved enough. Whoo, yeah, it's like Buddy Christ. Exactly. Plastic Jesus is Buddy Christ. Exactly right. Why does the Bible not even mention our mother? Great question, Ruthie, because they don't want you to know about your mother. Religion is designed to dominate others. I do need a coffee. And now I'm down to like 15% of my regular caffeine intake. So maybe I am a little cross. Maybe I'm a little cross. Yesterday, my grandson told me there is no God. Let him believe that. He's probably young, right? Let him believe that. I love the way that you handled that. Thank you, April. Same to you. Same to you. That lemon water, yeah. Jeff, are you familiar with the work of Mark Passio? I am. I've tried to get a hold of Mark, but he must see something he doesn't like over here, and that's okay. But I would love to have Mark on the channel. I'd love to talk to him. Yeah, I do probably need to smooth my edges, but I'm 55. That's probably not happening. What book in the Bible has the most diamonds? No doubt about it, John. Easy. Easy. John. No problem. Without a doubt. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. And may I just say, Sandra had nothing to do with this, so don't blame her. It's all me. And now that I think I've got everybody upset, my work here is done. And I can go on and enjoy the rest of my day. And I will go have a coffee, I believe. A almost all decaf coffee. But it'll be cool. Sorry I had to bounce a couple of you into timeout, but maybe I was a little touchy today. That's all right. Every now and then we get a little touchy. Yeah, I was beating the hornet's nest and they were coming out. So anyway, think about this. It's good stuff. And I know some of you are going to run to Derek, and I'm gonna hear from Derek, and we'll have a great talk about this, because we don't have to believe everything each other believes. But I'm right. Oh, I know what's wrong. I forgot to put my MYSTECH on, right? At least I got my what is it? Reuptake inhibitor. What's that called? Not melatonin, but serotonin. I could have been even worse if I didn't have my serotonin bracelet on. Could have been even worse. Yeah, Derek and I'll be back together again soon. We're probably going to have a show with Jay Campbell as well. I'm moving next week, moving in full time with Sandra. Yes, we are going to be shacked up. I know some of you don't like that, but that's okay. I like it. And so you probably won't hear that much from me next week. I will. My stones are right. Oh, I just packed my stones, Deborah. They were sitting right here, and I just packed them. So, yeah, we will have a show tomorrow with Wayne. And I think I have another one after that with somebody. Maybe it's with Derek and Jay. I'm not sure. And then that'll be it. The bunker will be decommissioned. And we're moving over to South Florida, and we will reestablish the bunker in a secure location. And we will continue to bring you new cosmic knowledge. We need to get Dan from Overwatch Channel back. We need to bring him back, and we'll be back. Isabel's back. Good to see you. And with that, I'm encouraging you. Jeff is going to break all the ladies' hearts while he mends his own heart. You give me far too much credit, Gary. You give me far too much credit. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. We are here trying to help you unindoctrinate yourself. help you create yourself and build the life you'll love. Ask questions, question answers. It's an inside job. The divinity in me recognizes the divinity in all of you. I salute all of you for being here seeking after truth. And I wish you, above all things, love and light. We're the last generation of real humans. Let's get busy.